have disappeared.
Yeah, I think everybody's here.
Okay.
Are we ready?
I hope so.
Ready or not, here we come.
This is more fanciful music. This is like Disney music.
I'm not
This is
hearing
from Dragon
any
Quest.
music.
That makes sense.
I'm not hearing any music on my end.
Try Control F5. Or turning.
I see it playing.
Or clearing the cache or
Yeah, come over here and
whatever.
just
Yeah.
poke at things.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing anything at all during Rob's game. So we had to.
Yeah, that was an issue I even talked to him about after game. Anyway, some quick notes for tonight. I don't know if we'll go our normal length because my throat has been doing all kinds of weird things to me since I got over COVID. Still doesn't feel entirely normal, but it feels workable, and I can definitely do low voices a lot better than I could before.
Yeah, you sound a little bassy, a little
Still have your cut sensitive.
a little manly.
I believe so.
I hope so.
I'm not entirely...
No.
I do have my sense of taste because I had some Sour Patch today, and I definitely tasted the flavors.
Okay, good. Don't scare me.
But yeah, so my throat's doing weird things, my voice is doing weird things. I'll be able to do a good Telemon and probably a poor Mirai, so we'll just have to make do. But with that note out of the way, we can get into game, and let's start with a recap of last game, if you please.
Who got those
Hold on.
Recaps.
Okay, yeah. I'm doomed to not hear the playlist tonight, I guess. Anyway, let's go.
We dealt with the basically the last bits of taking the mine and I can't remember what was last week in what was the game before. Retaking the mine and then dealing with the prisoners. The prisoner situation is tense, but under control. We are escorting them back to the refuge with minimal executions required. And at the end of the game, we rescued someone with more giant owls. Other people should add more detail to that.
There was some skating involved. Say definitely jumped on Alistair's back afterwards to enjoy the skating, the fire skating.
Yes, fire
involving
skates.
Rockets.
Rockets on feet are a thing.
Rockets on feet. What else? What else happened? During the first watch, the first night's watch, things did not go very well. A couple of the prisoners attempted to escape, and during the evening there were 2 gunshots as they were summarily executed. Something that seems to be weighing heavily on their current jailer. Let's see. Learned that Mirai is a good fighter. They seem to be wild-eyed and quick with a blade. In fact, it was she who was scouted ahead and found the ranger that we summarily rescued. Did not get seen, thankfully. What else? Boomsticks are a thing! On a lighter note, previously, the day before, we got to know the goblins a little bit better, learned a little bit about them, their plight, their culture. They're a strange lot. They have some kind of strange device called a boomstick, as well as a number of other strange things. Rocket boys were mentioned. I think we learned a little bit about the queen as well. Just that there is indeed a queen being of some kind, and she is captive. I think last episode is the same one where we got that particular union on our side. I think we opened with, well, we have prisoners, what the fuck do we do? And had a show of force. No one is happy about this, I don't think. Words were said for options, but wow, everything's out of order. but to show a sign of force, I believe it was 2 of the slave masters who were executed. Others fell
Guards.
in line. Guards? 2
So
guards.
all of the slave masters were executed before we left the mines. 2
Yes.
guards were executed after we left the mines because they attempted to escape.
Yes, so there's currently a body count of 4. Not that numbers help. If anything, it makes it worse. But it did seem to initially cause them to take the situation more seriously. We thought we had cowed them, but again, some did try to escape. That's the big fat problem, is what that is. We still don't know much about them, the Duergar, the world they come from. We decided that banishment was probably not the best option, since if they end up back in the Shadowfell, that is back within and under Hectopol's watchful eye. This could be a problem for us. I think it was decided that we would hold them at the Refuge for a while, put them to work, to make preparations until we can figure out what the fuck to do with them, because we are not terrible people.
Allegedly.
We learned that Telamon had a flying castle. It was a castle, a sky castle of some kind. The forces of ruin seemingly do not know how to make it go. That was a secret that Telamon did not share with them. But there does seem to be an understanding that eventually they may figure it out. Telamon would like to get his castle. I think the party is considering that as an option, at the very least to take that out of the forces of ruin as an weapon in their arsenal.
I believe it was also noted, thanks to maps and Telemon's knowledge of geography, that his castle was grounded somewhere near what you have marked as the entryway on your map.
Ooh, that's useful. I forgot that. That is very useful. 2 birds, 1 stone. Other things that happen. Nani made up to Alistair. Words were had, assurances were made. She thought she almost killed him, and he was pretty much oblivious to that.
He was so oblivious to it.
Awkward hugs, water under the bridge, everything's cool. And then forums happen.
Yeah, so before jumping into forum play, are there any details from last game that anyone would like to mention, or...
Not from last game, but Sam just claimed victory over the baby, so he'll be joining us shortly.
Excellent.
Perfect.
You've defeated a small child. Congratulations.
Look, on the worst battlefield.
That is equivalent to either a small dragon or a caffeine soaked goblin.
As of this afternoon, he declared himself that he's a dragon, so...
You know, Mr. Rex has a module for that.
Caffeine soaked kobold, rather.
Monstrous Races by Mr. Rex. They are completely unbalanced. Check them out.
Anyway, while Sam is settling, Say, would you like to summarize your conversation with Elaine?
Say had a heart-to-heart with Elaine where they both agreed that they're bad at things. And gave each other advice that they may or may not follow through on.
That is a very apt summary. Learn from my mistakes. That's more or less what Elaine's argument boiled down to.
More or less, yeah.
Do we have a Taliesin at the computer?
Music is really cheery. Holy shit.
Yeah. That's what I said. This is some Disney fanciful stuff.
It really is. It's
I
almost
think the
dystopian.
music stopped again.
You know what? You don't have
Only
any
local.
music drama if you mute it completely.
No lies detected. This might be a little too airy, though. Oh, I see Taliesin lighting up.
Yep. I was just waiting. Sure.
Sure.
So I just taken my headphones a second ago.
We're waiting on my play read back now.
Yep, you're up for recapping your forum thread.
Okay.
Okay.
It was a very busy
It was a very busy one. Started off talking
to
Alistair about figuring out
designing
things and making things to have a dragon,
and
and
it came to the point where
Alistair agreed that they needed a distraction, and was fairly certain that the scale that Taliesin had would indeed just barely meet the mark for the required material cost for the component for the dragon. So then they said their goodbyes. Taliesin went over to say and worked on convincing her to take at least a small break from her guard work, which she was not liking, and you could tell. And he got her to do the etching of a dragon on his dragon scale so that he'd be able to summon a dragon. And the only reason she allowed that to happen was because he was going to have someone watching the guards with him, and apparently say things that two people have to replace her, not just one. So Taliesin did that and got to talk to. He chose Mirai because she had fought well. Pulled her over, got to talking to her, found out vaguely what was going on. After she was very confused about how the whole situation was going and didn't understand what Duergar were or the Trigger Gods. And she kind of went silent, went away from him. He called Elaine over, tried to make sense of it. Sounds like she might have come from a different plane, and because of how shit goes on different planes, sometimes there are time jumps. And it just seems like this time jump was a very, very fucking severe one that is almost unheard of for reasons. So Taliesin went back to Mirai to say sorry for giving her a headache and such, and tried whittling out more information while also being friendly, and trying to piece things together of what she could remember of different things that weren't directly related to her backstory, but it all came out in a wash. He has an idea to help her remember, but that's going to be after this next long rest that he'll be able to do that, possibly with group approval. And he's in a weird spot where he completely understands where she's coming from as being someone who's lost in a place that is not known to them, at least not very well. And he's of the opinion that her mother's probably definitely dead. Her dad might be alive, but he doesn't know how to approach that at all, and is very cautious on really cementing what year it is currently to avoid that kind of conversation right now. And of course, she made joking veiled threats at Kahu, who kind of trusts her, kind of doesn't. It's tense.
I would not trust her. Trust no one.
Is there any other details from the recaps anyone would like to make note of before we get into game today?
I'm good.
That's about everything.
All right, sounds good. So we will start tonight's game to see if there's anything anyone would like to do at the end of the night before everyone is settling down to rest. Actually, before we dive into that, give me a tool check for carving on the dragon scale.
Sure. Tinker tools?
That'll work. There's no fail condition.
It's
Just
just
etching onto a scale is possible, but
how pretty is it?
yeah, it is a dragon scale, so it requires a little extra oomph. And if I recall correctly, you were taking 2 hours to work on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dex? Yeah. Tinkers are
Oh.
Dex.
Either way, I think even if you did a Tinker's check, you could do it like Dex with proficiency anyway, so.
This says saving throw, but it's actually a check for that. 18.
Okay. 18 is enough to get an etching done within the 2 hours. It's not elaborate, it's not complex, but it is definitely visibly a dragon and meets your expectations for what you set out to do. It just isn't fancy.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a Marecki like kind of Art Deco style. This is a dragon.
Which, after 2 hours of working with a very difficult medium to work with, that's still a considerable success. Okay. So with Faye working on her scale, let's circle back and see if anyone has anything in particular they would like to do, or anyone they'd like to talk to before we move into the evening.
I have nothing.
I'm gonna sneak up on Say.
Sure.
You can certainly try.
Yeah. What's your stealth?
Certainly try. Probably not as good as your passive perception. You get trained that ability, have I? I have not.
Alistair is a very slippery SOB, but that doesn't mean he's a quiet SOB.
It's that slippery, not quiet SOB. It's a 14.
No. But Say's not gonna run away either. She's just not surprised.
So you find Alistair's kind of glancing over your shoulder, and you can definitely tell he's holding back, or if you turn to see him. Trying not to helicopter.
Just hand it to him.
He looks it over and kind of tilts it to what's left of the light. Oh, that should do nicely for what Townsend needs, I think. Let me check. And Townsend he's keeping guard now, right?
Yes.
Once he's been relieved and into the seats and the scale back to say. Permission to vent a little?
Vent away.
That's okay.
Of course.
It's been... It's been a week. Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, a month and a few months. And, holds down. Looking at the plant's hands on his knees. Who would be screwed up?
What?
But he might be screwed up. I mean,
How so?
I'd be playing it back through my head, and I hadn't surrendered. It would have been a lot easier. I used to think I'm just naive, if you like. I used to think that own blood is always a last resort. And even then, not a very good one. But ever since hitting the road, I don't know if I like the kind of person I'm becoming. He looks towards Sally, and you see his eyes are a little wet, but he's not, there.
Say's gonna, like, wrap an arm around him. Alright, what do you mean?
He shakes his head. They were taking this seriously, and they're slave drivers. This feels wrong. I know we don't have many solutions, or even any solution, but it just... I can't be the only one. This doesn't feel right. I can't be the only one.
It was the only one I could think of, to be honest, and all I can do is try and shield you all from the rest of it.
It's the only thing I could think of, and I'm supposed to be the smartest man in the room.
You are.
It sucks. It sucks, and I hate it.
It sucks, and yes. Alistair,
So-
it was my plan, done by my hand, okay?
So he glances away. It's not true. We were all there and we could have stuck to anyone. We fought smarter and did better. But nothing would have changed. I don't know. I just...
Alistair, it's because of your moral compass in this group that we didn't execute all of them.
looks back and there's a pen or something. That would have made it easier.
Gods no. Not on my conscience.
Just wanted to tell you that it feels better. That's all.
I know.
Smiles a little bit. Chat?
Alistair, I'm not lying. You and Felix are some of the stronger moral compasses in our group and have been since the beginning.
I suppose that won't be true, but truth be told, we really did things the way that I initially thought they should be done. I think we'd all be dead, or enslaved, or both. So, we're looking out for us, and hey, sorry to put my warning on your plate. I know it's less than one hears that.
No!
Oh, this is terrible, and I've got no solutions, but it's terrible, and it sucks, and...
I want you to come to me with these things. I can't fix them, and I'm sorry. All I can do is try and protect you from the worst of it.
I guess there's some things just can't fix. Maybe some things that you're supposed to fix. I don't know. I've been spending too much time thinking.
Go wrestle someone
you
for
said
dinner. Go wrestle someone for dinner.
I will. I will. I'm gonna make someone face plants. For sure. Hey,
I'll go wrestle Elaine for dinner. That would be hilarious.
you're long overdue, and I think that's the best idea yet. You're really not as dumb as you think you are. He stands. And plants a hand on your shoulder. You know, if you heat the scale up a little bit, you might be able to get a smoother edge on the rafting. It has similar properties to iron, it looks like. It might come with points if you unfortunately.
Might need a kilt for that.
Oh boy, another project for the farm. Right, I'll go fun with that and make it eat dirt.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Good chat. Good night. Call me if you need me. Emmett doesn't sleep. I do. So if you want my help, do it soon or later or not. You guys don't really sleep, so. He waves.
Yep. Say I'll wave to him, wave him off.
Alrighty.
Well, meanwhile, that's happening. Kanani's going to seek Elaine.
Let's see. Having spoken to, say, Elaine has started to kind of walk the perimeter a little bit. Kanane, as you move about the camp searching for him, you notice a very large, shaggy black wolf that seems to be lurking near where the prisoners are. You can see on the far side there's a large stone outcropping where Mirai and Taliesin seem to be chatting. Telamon is sitting with his back against a large tree nearby. And you find Elaine just kind of meandering along the edge of the camp, occasionally looking in at the freed slaves, the captives, and looking out across the open side of the cliffs that you are currently camped along.
How distracted is he?
Soon to be very.
Soon to be very.
Elaine always looks distracted by something, but he always seems to notice more than he lets on.
Alright, well, Kanane won't try and stealth up to him because he's probably going to be staring at everything but her anyway, so she'll just make her way to him.
And to reward your open approach, as you draw near, he glances over to you, blinking a little bit, and smiles. He has not put back up his illusion since revealing himself to you all the other night. So you can see Elaine looks very much like himself, just older. Probably in his 40s, a little lined on his face, and you do notice the edges of the long-healed burns along this left side of his neck and his left hand. Good evening, Kanani.
Good evening. May I work with you?
Of course. I'm not one to turn down a little bit of company. It seems it is a restless night for many of us.
There is a lot of things going on.
Oh,
He told me what you told him.
yeah. I have to be more specific. I told a lot of he's a lot of things.
You are his father.
Ah. Well, I suppose at this point it was a poorly kept secret anyway.
I had a hunch. I think he was in denial. Ever since you gave him the letter, he has not wanted to talk about it.
I cannot blame him.
He is very angry.
He has every right to be.
I admit the letter could have made me mad too.
You did it. And why's that?
I don't know my father either, but he left on different circumstances. It was something he had to do, but he promised he would be back. You left with nothing.
Elaine smiles faintly as he looks down at the ground. Oh, I made that same promise just to a different person.
Well, it didn't get through. Not to him.
No, you didn't.
You did not know. All this is, and I'm sure you regret a lot, but it does explain why I see such sadness in your eyes.
And here I was thinking I was pretty good at hiding myself.
Nani taps her nose. I am very good at reading people.
Damn foxes. He says that with a rueful shake of his head.
What do you think about this, now that you are adventure?
Oh, I think I have gotten a bit too old for the adventuring lifestyle. But
Yes, you quite aged right before our eyes.
he winces. Yes, well, it's easier to convince people you are dead than you look like you could not possibly be as old as they think you might be.
Convince people you're dead? Elaine, how many lies have you picked up over the years? Do I want to know?
No. There comes a certain point when you stop counting.
I will be sure not to lie as much as you.
I do not recommend it. I'm not sure honesty is the best policy, but it's embracing the life of a liar certainly invites certain difficulties to one's doorstep.
Oh, yes, I am familiar. I have made mistakes. You see, there is a man back home. He wanted me. I told him I would think about it.
Oh, that
The-
is a worst lie of all. Shame
yes.
on you.
Well, the library caught fire and I fled the city, so I don't know how he thinks of me now.
Not entirely how I was kicked out as a right tower.
The only reason why I left was because Otori is very strange and very mean when it comes to those who are not the same.
Yeah, one of my closest friends was an Atonin. He felt very much as you did. You do, rather.
The one that was in the small painting that Alistair has.
Yes.
You said he was a captain and he's lost or died at sea.
You see his expression goes a little distant. Yes. He died so that his daughter would live.
It all makes sense now.
I don't know. Sometimes I still wonder about it. Making sense, I mean.
Oh no, the big thing, the big part of all of this will never make sense, Elaine. Do not try. I have already told Alistair that, to just embrace the world. Don't try to think too hard about it. Because if you do, you go insane. It is what my mother told me.
Those are wise words.
She learned it from her mother, and so on and so forth.
I had another friend who was very much like that. He too thought a lot, but it was more along the lines of making sense of what he saw in the world around him than trying to force the world to fit into a preconceived notion.
Was he also in the picture?
He was.
Alistair's teacher.
Elaine grins. I am happy to hear that he had had such a positive influence on Alistair.
I am sure he was a father figure to him.
He was certainly wise enough not to follow us on our foolish errand. He had much wisdom to share.
Maybe it's a shame that he had to go.
The world is poor for his passing, but at least he was able to pass on his own terms, so to speak.
I am sure he is happy that Alistair is no longer staying in the aura.
Oh, he would be positively ecstatic. He always felt that it was important for a young mind to see the world at large. It is too easy to fall into the traps of our own preconceived notions when we stay too long at home. Only through travel can you expand your mind.
I wanted to do that. I did. I wanted to travel when I turned 20. I wanted to go and find my dad. If I found my father and brought him home, my mother would stop being so sad. But fate had different plans for me.
Well, I'm sure he's still out there, waiting for you to find him.
Oh, I know. I did a reading. He is alive somewhere, but he is stuck doing something that he needs to do. When things aren't so weird, maybe I should do a reading for you.
Oh, I do not think that is a good idea.
Why? Will the lies come out?
Even worse, the truth might.
Well, one truth has already.
Perhaps we should give that one time to warm before we move on to any others.
Do not worry, I will not do wrong if you do not want it. That is rude.
I am much appreciative.
I will do Alistair first. I think his superstition has made him not want one.
The superstition. I always found it interesting that one could be superstitious in a world where magic is so readily apparent. But perhaps it's not the fact that you can be superstitious so much as generally there are things to be superstitious about.
I think it's a Leo thing.
They are very practical people. Not at all like the Aegeans.
But I think these past few months, he is a lot less than he used to be. When we all started out, he had a spark to him. He was curious and naive, much like me. But we have learned quickly that, well, gods are real and
So are devils. You've had the misfortune to be born in interesting times. To your credit, though, you have all accomplished far more than most do in far shorter amounts of time. This world is changing, and I believe Valor Company has no small hand in changing it.
fate is up to something. I do not know what.
Well, fate is a difficult thing to think about. I much more favor the idea that our fate is what we like to make it, but... And he shrugs a little bit. I mean, there are so many people with so many individual fates. They are bound to bump into each other more often than not.
It is all unknowable, but I have faith in fate more than I did before. Before I did not think about anything but myself and the things around. And now I have become selfless.
Continue to keep an open mind, and you'll continue to grow.
Those are the kids like that.
Thank you, I try.
At least you are trying now. But
If there's one thing that I excel at, it is trying. Succeeding, not so much, but trying, I'm very good at trying.
what is it they say? You get A for effort?
Oh, I should be so lucky.
I would give you an
Oh,
A. Not quite an A. You could do better, but you tried.
in that case, I hope you are grading on the curve.
I grade by feel.
Oh, you're one of those teachers.
I could be.
He chuckles a little bit as he continues to walk, tapping his staff along the rocky road.
How are you feeling now that he knows?
I'm terrified. Yes, that is a good word, terrified. Anxious, incredibly anxious. Assaulting a mind full of Duergar in the thralls of an evil god? That is not so difficult.
Fuck up.
Confronting him, now, after what has been said, that is far more intimidating.
I think it would help you to know that I believe he is not as angry as he was. I think it's more hurt and confused.
Oh, not so really. There's more things I need to discuss with him then he's ready.
I am sure he will be all ears.
Thank you for just for being there for him.
What is what friends are for.
Indeed.
In these 3 months I have made closer friends than I have in a lifetime.
You sure that they know that?
Oh, I'm sure they do. I hope. Maybe I should tell them and not assume.
In my experience, you can never tell someone how much you value them enough. Sometimes that is all they need to hear to move forward with their own difficulties. Sometimes just offering to listen to their difficulties is enough to show how much you care. But yes, make sure they know.
Maybe I should go and give everyone I had the first sleep together.
Considering all that has been happening lately, I believe that is a wonderful idea.
You first, and she'll give him a hug.
Oh, I really don't. Yeah. Oh, that's soft.
Excuse me?
What?
She just squirts at him.
But you are a very good hugger.
I would like to hope so. And she will let me know.
He visibly untenses.
I would hug Twinkle, but she squawks, and I'm sure she will wait somewhere. She will get ahead in the morning when everyone needs to wake up.
Lane snorts a little bit. I believe that is a wise idea. Now off with you. I'm an old man and you are a young woman with many friends to hug.
Well, fine. I will not be your walking bunny anymore.
There will be many more nights to come.
Okay. Alright, I need to find Say and Taliesin and she'll walk off.
Say is seated by that tree over there, and Taliesin is up on there with the rock, speaking to his new lady friend. Just being helpful.
Thank you.
Then he walks off. I'll circle back to Kanane in a second. We're doing another check. I believe everyone is more or less winding down for the night. Any last minute tasks anyone would like to see to before they rest and watch for the evening?
Yeah, I think Alistair's supposed to go wrestle Elaine.
Will Alistair seek out Elaine and challenge him to the rites of dinner?
Yeah, but as long as everyone else is cool with sitting through that. Dude, I had my 5 minutes.
I think I need that on screen.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Yeah, well, objects, then Alistair's gonna kick his fucking ass.
So how does Alistair approach Elaine with this?
He gets about 40 paces behind Elaine. Hey! Oh man!
That draws the attention of a lot of people at the camp.
He's got like his legs spread out and his arms at his sides, making that little like gremlin fight-me pose.
Elaine pauses and turns, blinking.
We've got 20 years of wrestling and toxic masculinity to catch up on, and you are far overdue.
In the background, you just hear, "Fight! Fight! Fight! Fight!"
Yes, that's the idea. That's the idea. And he points at Elaine, shaking his hand.
The Goblin Union begins echoing it in a chorus. They're the only ones shouting.
Alistair, I thought we were talking out our problems.
Well,
This
yeah, but
might be my
There's a-
fault.
Say calls out in the background.
and Alistair's gonna stomp on toward him, hands on his hips. There is a long-standing tradition among those who are within the Valor Company, who you are a probationary member of at this moment, to wrestle for the rights for dinner. I'm challenging you because I don't want to go hungry. So, name your rules before we engage in combat.
Well, I believe this is the first time anyone talking to probationary or Valor Company, so first and foremost, I humbly accept your invitation to join the band.
It's probationary, don't get used to it.
I am deeply flattered by this privilege. He puts a hand on his chest and kind of bows his head. I am not normally one to wrestle for my food, but why don't you tell me the normal rules that you play by in these contests?
Well, with his fist honestly, the kind of rules is, generally speaking, no sharp weapons, no punches below the belt. Sometimes it is accepted that you don't use weapons. If you do, you use the blunt edges. Shields are maybe. Spells are right off, but cantrips sometimes apply. And trickery is often frowned upon.
Elaine frowns and rubs his chin.
Say will actually, because she'll let Taliesin and Mirai be on watch for a little bit longer to come referee this nonsense because she feels a little bit at fault for it. Alright, no below the belts. I need a good clean 5-second pin, thank you.
Five-second pin. No
Alistair's
tricks.
Alistair's gonna throw his scabbard with the bell sword to the ground. Alright, first stipulation. No weapons.
No,
Take off
Titans.
your coat.
no weapons. Most assuredly.
No coats!
Your coat.
Alistair takes off his scabbard. He takes off his coat. He's just in the suspenders and his nice shirt that Say got him.
Interestingly, as Kanane points that out, no coats, there's a moment where both Elaine and Alistair look at her as they're both wearing similar coats. As mentioned before, Elaine has a long, kind of orangish, brownish coat that he wears beneath his cloak. So As he shuffles off his cloak, there's a moment of the two of them. Another moment of curious reflection between the two of them.
Don't look at me like that. You heard me. I made the rules. Now go.
Your fashion sense won't help you. Though it is quite good.
I appreciate it. Yours is not so bad yourself.
Oh, I try.
I'm especially fond of the shoulder.
Oh, thank you. They make from turtle shells.
I thought so. They are very shiny and inner. Do you polish them?
Oh, well, they partially.
Are you going to fight or are you going to talk?
Right, okay.
I will continue to talk.
You will fight and you will like it.
I promise no such thing.
Fighting while talking, it's like dance fighting, but with language.
Oh,
Don't worry, I'll take the winner.
well, in that case.
Unless someone loses on purpose, and then I will take the loser.
Then,
Might I make one request?
of me or of the powers that be?
Of the powers in being general. I, for one, I deeply respect tradition and will engage in this tradition as stipulated by our rules mistress and our administrator. But, depending how things go, I do request an opportunity to indulge myself in a little bit of a more lax restrictions. After the proper contest. More of an exhibition.
Nani looks at Say.
Say shrugs.
Alistair
Hold on.
Alistair squints at Elaine and kind of holds out a hand. Alright, lax restrictions. Consider me curious. What do you have in mind?
Am I the mistress or are you?
I think you're the mistress and I'm the administrator, which is just terrifying. Truthfully, my paperwork is awful.
I like the title of mistress.
I think
will
you.
take that.
You know what? I think you would. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, we'll get there. We'll see. But first, a proper contest.
I mean, if you want to use your tricks, I'll gladly accept the challenge. Under one condition.
What condition exactly?
You beat me at this game, you use your tricks, and you have to answer a few questions tonight.
If I win or if I lose?
If you win. Play the rules by your game, and if I beat you at your own game, I get to have a few minutes with you. Honestly. And, I get to eat too when you go hungry.
Of course.
But that's accepted.
I think that's fair. I accept these terms.
And if you lose on purpose, you have to face Say.
No holds barred then. He goes and
No
reaches
holds
for,
barred.
he reaches for the shield. He reaches for the sword.
I'm not going to use my weapon.
Goes to the side. Keeps the shield then.
Alright then. His
Alright.
coat and his staff are on the side. He kind of moves off to the side and kind of kicks at the dirt a little bit. He unbuttons the cuffs on his very old, kind of ragged tunic and folds the sleeves up.
that tunic is a travesty. We'll be fixing it later.
That means she likes you.
I am not one to disagree with the eye of someone who knows far more about fashion than I do. Alright, let's do this.
What? 3, 2, 1, go! And Alistair charges.
Oh, Jeebus. Alright.
Roll for initiative if you did it.
Yeah, let's do this.
This is gonna be great.
I
you
love
are
it
wrong.
so much.
16.
1 second.
Oh. We're here.
Just ignore all of these other things.
What things?
There's
There's no tattered camp or anything there. That's all you're saying.
Nah. In the background, you got Mirai like squinting across the grounds at them. Are your companions about to fight one another?
Yes.
Yes.
This is silly.
This is silly.
And it only started a week ago.
And it only started a week
So
ago.
long-standing is a
So long-standing is
strange term.
a strange term.
You said you got a 16?
Here we go.
Oh, well, now Elaine got 18. All right.
Elaine promptly cast banishment.
All right. So he gets to move first. You're charging at him. He is going to. Oh, this is silly. He's going to use his bonus action. Alistair, I need you to make a dexterity check.
Check or save?
It should actually be safe.
Save. Okay, cool. So some artificers get that. I think. Uh-oh. Oh. 16.
16. Alistair, you charge at Elaine. You have your shield ready in one arm. He steps to the side, and your ankle twists beneath you, and you faceplant into the ground at his feet. He then kneels down and withdraws a rock from his pocket. The same rock you remember him claiming from the caves beneath Faravax's lair that he was very angry at. He presses it down onto your back and stands back up. Alright, so do I win? Alistair, it's your turn.
My turn. Okay. Alistair goes to stand.
You cannot. You feel the rock weighing into you as though it were an immovable object.
Yes. Okay. Well, shit.
Kanani's just watching this and just like. Oh.
Okay, so I said, tricks were okay, but this is a little bit ridiculous.
I don't know. I think it was very smart.
I'm going to cast Dispel Magic.
Okay.
So Alistair reaches to his hip and pulls out he unpacks the swarm, which begins to buzz around him, crackling with orange arcane light. And they promptly zap the piss out.
Zap the piss out of Elaine.
Zap the piss out of Alistair.
Zap the piss out of Alistair. Alrighty.
Does Dispel Magic break it?
I'm double checking.
This is great.
It's that wild nut shit, right?
Oh, this is a good question. What level is this spell?
Full object, I think, is level 2.
I think so as well. It's a very low level spell. Yeah, it's second level. Yeah, so they swarm around the stone, and they lift the stone off your back, and they toss it aside. Elaine looks after the rock and scowls. Traitor.
I have a question.
Is Elaine a warlock?
He is a hybrid.
Okay.
Okay.
I should say he's an asshole.
I mean,
I was just
trying to make sure that he wasn't forced to cast it at a higher level, but if he's a hybrid, he probably used a different slot, so I'm not worried. We're good.
Yeah, no, it definitely counts as just second level. All right. So you cast your Dispel Magic, the rock gets tossed aside, and you find yourself able to stand back up.
I don't think that was 5 seconds. Nice try.
No, that was
Casting
Good
spell.
feat.
Alistair will go to stand and fuck, do I have any bonus? Oh. Yes.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna hold on to it. Proceed. It's a Alistair's turn.
Okay, so you get up, you start to brush yourself off. Elaine's turn. Check for recharge. Nope. Well, that is unfortunate. He kind of sets his hands off to the side. Alistair, I need you to make a charisma save as he backs up.
Charisma save.
Charisma save.
Where there's a spell being cast.
Nope. He does not appear to be casting a spell.
Charisma save. Okay. Yeah, sure. Save. That's a 2.
Oh no!
Okay. And he takes a step back away from you. I hope you realize there's no harm in this. I'm simply very poor at physical contact, so I like to think my way through my problems, you see? And that is all he's doing with his action.
I mean, appealing to my finer senses, that is a valid tactic.
Oop, did not want to do that.
However, dinner's on the line. And Alistair will again make a charge toward Elaine. He pulls back his hand, which begins to crackle slightly. It tends to sock him in the face. With what's that thing?
You roll with disadvantage.
I roll with disadvantage. So he attempts to cast Shock and Grasp. That was an 18 on die. It's a 15 on die, plus 8.
15.
23.
Elaine is not known
23.
for having high armor class, so
Not known for having high armor. Can I pull my punches to not do full damage? I don't want to kill him.
you definitely zap him, but we're assuming this is not going to be lethal. But there's definitely a spark as he goes to step out of the way again, and this time you grab him by the front of his shirt, and he just and there's a flash of electricity, and his hair starts to like lift off his head.
That's my action.
How much damage is that?
2d8.
Go ahead and roll it.
Okay.
We'll do damage, but this is sparring, so
Almost max. That's going to be 15.
Wow.
alrighty. And that means he cannot take reactions, if I'm correct?
Cannot take reactions.
Alright.
And because he can't take reactions, I'm going to move out of his... No, he's not a melee fighter. I'm going to stay up in his face.
Okay. Oh, that was good. That was good. And he makes a gesture with his left hand as he speaks. I am very fond of this spell as well, but I've not quite mastered its use. I need you to make a right? So I'll just say that he's hexing you.
Okay. Cool.
I thought hex had a save attached to it. It does not appear to be.
Cool. I've been hexed. That's checks, right? Not saves?
Checks. Yep, that's what it is, and I always get those wrong. That's why
That's
hex
all.
always bothers me.
Yeah, Bane's the one you're looking for.
Yeah, it would be nice if you had Bane. All right.
I know this one. Felix did this to me.
And he's going to choose dexterity.
Dexterity, okay.
And now I need you to make a wisdom save.
Wisdom save. That's gonna be a 2.
All right. You feel all of your joints lock up.
Am I totally frozen, or can I still banter?
You are totally frozen, and you feel your jaw lock. You can move your tongue and make noises, but you can't actually move your jaw.
Okay. I need to check something real quick. I need to check something that's very important.
Is this where Alistair says fuck, but nobody can understand him?
I must say fuck. I have no mouth, and I must say fuck. Hold on.
I love that you two are taking this as seriously as like a
As a
chess,
heart attack.
as
a
a
heart
chess
attack.
match.
So I need to know. I'm trying to find the rules for the alchemical homunculus.
Wait, why are you looking up alchemical homunculus in response to hold person?
I don't know, but I can't wait.
We'll find out. Hold on.
I like that Konami and Say were like, all right, no trick, shenanigans, straight fight. And they're like, all right, can we use tricks? Okay, you can use tricks. Nothing but tricks.
This is entertaining. Kanane is giggling and just, she loves this. She's loving every moment of this bonding experience these two are having.
Say as a Mareki, this is slightly more magic than should be necessary, but they seem to be doing it their way.
Am I incapacitated?
Double checking. You are paralyzed.
That one.
Paralyzed. Yep, paralyzed means you're incapacitated.
So when I'm incapacitated, my familiars can take whatever action they choose to take.
Oh no.
Hi, Emmett.
Would it be unreasonable to think that Hermes would his kiss?
That Hermes would do what?
His kiss.
Kiss, kiss.
Bite.
I would imagine that Hermes would promptly throw herself at him, yes.
Okay.
So that was actually his turn, so he used his bonus and his actual action to cast that spell. So it is your turn.
It is my turn. Can I attempt to shake this off, or am I stuck? Is it suck or saber suck?
At the end of your turn, you can make another wisdom saving throw.
End of my turn, I make a wisdom saving throw. 19.
Oh, that works.
Actually, plus 0. 19. Alistair becomes unfrozen. That's the end of my turn. And yeah, Hermes is going to, because I was incapacitated, she's going to try to zap you.
Okay.
It's a plus 8 to hit.
Okay.
It's going to be a 14.
14 on the money.
Nice. So she opens up her mouth, and this little lens in the back of her throat lights up orange. There's just this as this beam of force just smacks Elaine at the side of his chest.
How much damage?
It's going to be 4, 5, 6 points of damage.
Am I wrestling you, or am I dealing with your familiar?
You wanted tricks? These are my tricks!
Fair enough. All right. Elaine is going to attempt and grapple you to the ground.
Oh, okay. I have disadvantage on dex saves.
Yes, you do. And I gotta check some recharges. All right. Good.
I was distracted.
Actually, since that
Did
recharge,
Purpose actually bite him?
he is going to.
Zapped him.
He goes
It hurt him,
to
right?
make an effort like he's going to
Did it sound
sweep
like
your
he trolled?
leg, and I need you to make another dexterity save.
I don't
Save.
fucking know.
It's
I
a
can't.
save, correct?
Save, yeah.
Save. That's going to be, my dexterity save. That's not mine, that's Herman's. 16.
16. You take a step backward to avoid the sweep of your leg, and you step on a loose stone, and again your feet go out from beneath you as you fall prone. He then promptly jumps on you to pin
Ooh! Oh, hello!
you. Oh, Hex is concentration, isn't it? Let's resolve that. Yeah, he's good.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, to Allison for pointing that out. I appreciate it.
Sorry, I was trying for Alice.
Sorry, I was trying for Alice there.
No,
it's all
no
good.
problem. I appreciate you keeping the skills honest.
Chip
And
chip
yeah.
damage works.
So
Alright,
he's
so
going to
I'm
attempt an athletics check to pin you to the ground.
alright, so I'm prone. And it is acrobatics versus athletics.
Oh my
It's
God.
a straight strength attack. Attributes. Acrobatics. Okay. My first roll was an 18 on die. I got to do it at disadvantage. Oh no! It's a saver check. It's a check.
Check.
Second one is a 19, so I'll take that 18. Class 7.
Yeah, Elaine
24.
doesn't know how to wrestle exactly, so when he goes to pin you, you just roll off to the side.
So rolls to the side.
So you're both prone on the ground right now.
You're both cool. Right on.
He's prone. Try and put him back.
This is
Yeah,
a very
you know
like flaily, sparky sparring match.
There's a lot of sparring. There's a lot of shit going on. I got nothing. I have no cool spells. This is terrible. Oh, if only I had mold earth. Alistair's gonna roll on top of. He's gonna try to roll on top of Lane and pin him. And I'm gonna roll an athletics check. I'll roll athletics. It's a -1, whatever I'm rolling.
Okay.
Oh yeah, flat roll. So that's gonna be a 2.
He's going to try a dexterity attempt to roll out of the way. And he beats
4.
you with a 4.
With a 4. So your magic. It doesn't seem exactly school taught. You're self-learned.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit is, with a little help from an asshole. And Elaine is going to... Oh, they're both rolling around on the ground now, so he's going to try and pin Alistair again.
That's the 2 on die. Alistair's gonna make enough acrobatics to roll up away at disadvantage.
Yeah.
That first one's a 19. The second one's a 12 plus 7. That is 19.
So Elaine, with all the grace of a flailing fish, rolls a 2 for a total of 1 on his athletics check.
Nice.
Speaking of, I need to recharge.
Sim, you're referring to your companion Mikatos.
Oh, no. Our relationship is a bit more strained.
Oh, some other jerk told you. Oh, I get it. The last name. You learned it from him. You do seem rather unfond of him. I can think of very few others who would receive that title, aside from Demetrius. He's kind of a jerk.
Oh, he's a jerk for all the wrong reasons. Oh, all the right reasons, depending on the definition.
The process of elimination. And he's gonna stare at Elaine for a little bit before attempting to pin him.
Just wah! He throws himself at Elaine.
I would assume that's the long and short of it. It's gonna be a nat 20. Oh, I'm at disadvantage. No, that's athletics. That's a nat 20.
So you catch him while he's responding to you, and you just completely like belly flop onto him, and he lets out a yip as he's knocked over, and you catch him beneath you.
I think they're fighting.
Regret not preparing Greece.
Oh.
So, I'm curious, how exactly you worked that out? Unless, of course, I'm mistaken, and it's some kind of Fae nonsense. You definitely don't strike me as the kind to deal with devils. At least,
Oh no,
beyond the ones inside your own head.
Definitely nonsense of another nature. He is going to, he, as you're pinning him, there's a faint pop as he disappears when you hit the ground.
What?
And he appears about 3 feet above you and just lands on top of you. As he uses his bonus action to cast Face.
Nice.
That was his bonus action, so he's going to use his action to try and restrain you.
Okay. Acrobatics at disadvantage. That's an 11. Well, that's actually a 15. So we're going out the way.
Yep. You roll out the way as he hits the ground. Oh!
I'm surprised. You don't seem the pious type, but I've been mistaken about you before. You know, preconceived notion, what with all the... Alistair reaches to his side. A little latch that holds the swarm in place and sets them free. They swarm around him as his body folds into itself.
Elaine flicks his hand and casts Counterspell.
Okay. It's a level 2 spell, so he
Third
can
level or lower. Your swarm goes around you and then promptly like flicker, and then they just drop to the ground. Oh no, I've seen what you can do with those.
They promptly fall to the ground. That was a confirmation, 1 full action. He's just gonna use his movement to stand and move out of face. Alistair's turn.
Elaine is going to stand up and attempt to tackle you. Okay, that's a decent check now.
That is a decent check. So I rolled an 18 on die, but not with advantage still. That is a 7. That's a 14 total.
He beats you with an 18 as he tackles you to the ground. And this time he is pinning you.
Gracious. Okay. Ow. Okay. Don't bend the joints. I don't bend that much. Ow. Oop, oop.
All right, let me. I'm not good at this. Let me just hold here. Okay. How's that feel?
It's much better.
Excellent.
Alistair's eyes roll back into his head as he goes. How good is Elaine's passive perception?
Passive perception 16.
16. So he definitely hears as Emmett charges him.
Oh, you've got to be joking me.
Emmett leaps into the air and dogpiles the entire pile.
Okay.
Emmett wins. You both stab.
Okay, so that was your turn?
Well, he's gonna roll an athletics check to try to get you. You're prone, so it's a pin. So is this an advantage?
Yeah, I'll say it's an advantage. Elaine is not moving from his position.
25.
Yeah, I don't think he could match that even if he tried.
25 to restrain Elaine.
Okay, so he leaps onto Elaine, and Emmett goes at the end of your turn, correct?
Yes.
So at the end of your turn, you are still under Elaine.
I'm still under Elaine at the end of my turn. Yeah.
Okay. So we all know a turn is 6 seconds.
But it takes time.
But it takes time to do the pinning.
I'm going to count it. Pin for an entire round is.
I am fine with this. I will oblige by this because Emmett is now on top of Elaine, on top of Alistair.
Elaine maintains his grapple. I mean, Alistair has to concede. He is.
I'm going to try. I'm going to have him try to maintain a grapple since he's now being grappled by Emmett. So I'm going to say strength athletics check with disadvantage. I'm pretty sure you can worm your way under this unless you roll really badly.
I could roll really badly. Let's see here.
I also want to let this go.
Yeah. Alistair's eyes roll back into his head as Emmett stays put. Alistair looks Elaine over.
What did Alistair roll?
Alistair, he has not rolled yet.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's just going to ask. So what was she like? And he is going to cast Magnetic Jaunt. Magnetic Jaunt.
Oh no.
Alistair's form, unless Elaine attempts to counterspell while pinning and being pinned, Alistair's form becomes translucent and wavery as the dragonflies, the swarm, react. And like a ghost, it becomes transparent and then just slides out from under Elaine. As the crushing weight of Emmett's.
So, I'm going to make a ruling on this because I know this will come up in actual combat against actual enemies. The way I'm reading this, strictly speaking, you would still need to roll to see if he's grappling. This will let you move through his space very easily, but it doesn't say that you literally like pass through him or escape grapples that I can read. On the plus side, Elaine was grappling you on his turn, so you just have to make a roll and then you can use that to slip away if you beat his athletics check.
Okay.
Which is a 5.
Okay.
Just got to beat a 5.
It's got to be the 5. So Alistair's going to swarm. That was almost in the 20. $16.
Yeah. You
So,
slip out from under him.
Noodly and squirmy, he just kind of slips away.
You slip away, and you stand over him as he's kind of like stomach down on the dirt with Emmett on top of him, and he just lets out a huff. If ever you want to know what she was like, all you have to do is look in the mirror.
Alistair's going to sit on top of him. Hey, Ref, does this count?
Yes?
Good.
Mostly because this is painful to watch.
It is painful to perform as well. This construct is incredibly heavy.
Okay, Emmett, you can get up now.
And she'll pat him to coax him to get up.
In the background, Mirai leans over to Tennyson. Neither of them show any particular martial prowess, do they?
No.
Their brains do more.
Their brains do more.
I have to admit it was somewhat amusing.
You could see some of the other
fights for food.
They were fighting for food.
Long-standing
traditions started a little over a week ago. So there's been several.
Mirai looks perplexed.
I lean over and I whisper.
Don't worry. No one actually doesn't get fed. It's just stress relief. But in this case, blackmail.
Alright, does Emmett listen to Konane's instructions?
I would imagine he's a very good listener. I have told Emmett in the past to listen to my comments.
Elaine will then roll over and take a deep breath. I am not cut out for wrestling for dinner. I think I'll just steal some next time.
This is why I watch.
Or I usually have the doctor do it for me. He's a good champion to call in. That was option B.
You can call in champions?
Well, you're the one who wanted tricks, and that's the best trick there is, but I didn't want to give you access to it. You would have called, I don't know.
You would ask someone else to do it for you, otherwise I would have asked Jaeger.
Actually,
You wouldn't have.
Jaeger's actually lost a couple of times to Alistair, I think, so.
Elaine leans up and squints at Alistair.
I'm middling and squirrely. Sorry to tell.
He's very squirrely. Just try brushing his hair.
Don't, actually. Don't.
Or getting him to change clothes.
I just don't make him do anything. He's a wild child.
See, she gets it. She gets it.
However, I am the only one that can catch you.
Once you did it once, it was a fluke.
It was twice.
Twice is still a fluke.
Okay.
Right,
that is not an invitation to try.
I suppose you've earned the right to dinner. I lost fairly.
No, you didn't.
Everyone still gets to eat. That's not quite how it works. Anyway.
The steaks were not even real?
Nothing is real.
We
don't have steaks right now, but we'll have some later.
Oh, you can make steak berries.
A bunch of liars, and I'm so proud of you all.
It takes one to know.
Say's just gonna walk by, ruffle Alistair's hair, and then go take over. Alright, you two get some dinner. I'll take over this watch.
You can't watch yet. I need to hug you.
Oh,
And Nikatos is still keeping up his watch, so why don't you take first rest and take second watch?
all right.
As Kanani runs over to say.
Promptly hugs her.
Yeah, say we'll give her a hug back. I want to have a conversation with you later, but it's not pressing.
I am always available. Just say when. You, Taliesin, come here. I need to give you a hug.
I look from the rock.
From the rock.
No, you come.
No,
here.
you come here. I'm not moving.
No, you can come here.
No, you come to mine.
All right, she'll go over to him because he's being a fuddy-duddy.
I'll lean down.
I'll lean down. Give her.
I'll lean down. Give her a hug.
I'll lean down. Give her a hug. And
shrug.
Shrug.
Good enough. You tried.
Mirai's just watching, completely bemused by this everything that has happened within the last 10 minutes.
Twinkle! I'm hugging you now. Where's Jaeger?
Jaeger's looking about a prisoners.
Don't squawk. Or squawk. Squawk. Do it.
She's gonna hug Twinkle like hard to make her squawk.
Twinkle just squeaks.
I didn't put the entire camp on here just for the sake of ease, but the prisoners would be kind of like in the middle. So, Jaeger, as you're hanging out by the prisoners, you would see all this going on, probably across the prisoner group from you. Occasionally, Nikatos the fox is passing along behind you as he prowls along the perimeter. Kanane, I'd say you could see him pretty easily as well.
Oh yeah, he's huge.
Exactly.
She's gonna go find him and she's gonna give him a hug.
Wait, but what did I do? Is anything wrong?
You did everything, and you are wonderful, and I love you.
Oh,
Right, what sort of mushrooms did we put in dinner?
I love you too.
I don't know. I'm not entitled to dinner, but apparently I am.
Wait, we came across edible mushrooms? Can I see them?
No, I'm just... Kanane's hugging everyone and telling them they're wonderful.
Yes, I am reminding you that I respect you. You are all my friends. You are like a family to me, and I love you all.
I love you too, Kanane.
Are you sure there's nothing wrong?
Well, given the situation that we're in, there is a lot of things wrong.
But sometimes you must take the good where it comes.
Jaeger still looks confused because he like missed the whole reasoning for it when it came from Say. So he still suspects that Kanane has something wrong in her private life, but nods and accepts.
Oh, there's out of character talk. There are so many things wrong with Kanane.
Well, yeah. He's gonna like carefully bend over and hug her back.
Prisoners are just like, what?
You do not
yeah,
get a hug.
I'm
Would not hug you. Do not worry. I do not know you. I do not hug strangers. Can you even understand me?
Who's Konami talking to?
The prisoners that are probably giving her like stink eye.
Yes, they are. Say, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was wondering how all of our guests are reacting to
Wizard shenanigans.
Wizard-
And now Kanane
a
hugging
wizard fight. Now we all hug and say we love each other.
They have died from psychic damage.
The Duergar have no frame of reference for this.
I feel like the goblins are like, yes, this is normal.
Actually, you mentioned them. Frank the Goblin is kind of sidled up to you after the fight. so not for nothing, but that fight kind of sucked.
Do you want to fight?
Wizard.
Do you want to fight, Frank? I will fight you.
Oh hell no! I'm small and scrawny. I don't fight.
That is why I will win.
Wizard
Yes, that
fights
is why you would win.
are a
I
bit
agree with you
strange.
completely.
Well, in their defenses, they're also very scrawny.
You would think we would have gotten some muscles mining in those mines, but nope.
It was like you were never mining at all.
It was like we were never trying at all. Yup. Anyway, so when's dinner?
Start passing out rations.
All right, as Valor Company settles in to have their evening meal and take their rest for the night.
Hey, Konane.
Hey, Konane.
Yes.
Have you done a reading today?
Have you done a reading today?
No.
Would you possibly do a reading for me for something?
I don't know. You gave me a very weak hug, and I just do not feel like we love each other. I do not think you love me. Do you love me, Taliesin? Am I your friend?
She's very sarcastic.
I
Give her a look.
I blew up a hunter's head.
I blew up a hunter's head. What do you think?
Pull up a what?
Hunter's head.
Hunter's head.
Taliesin
that
was the one who
love?
Taliesin,
exploded
the one who
the...
exploded the.
Right. Sorry, I was trying to remember which hunter it was.
It blew up a hunter's head. That's what's.
Yes. I
I
mean...
was sarcastic.
I
but
mean-
yes, I can do a reading for you, Taliesin. I am in a very good mood. I am in a good mood, despite all of everything.
That's good.
That's good.
And,
I'll move off the rock a bit because that's one of the biggest areas that she'll be able to use her cards on, you know, and control them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, she has her side bag, so she'll get out her box of cards and her cloth, lay it on the rock, and start shuffling.
So, what is it that you would like today, Taliesin?
I'll kick in the teeth.
I mean, if you want me to kick you in the teeth, I can get some boots.
I had the confirmation from my mother. I have to make sure that the same is true for my father.
You do not want to assume that is right.
His name was Adrin Corvallis.
Do you have the bubble pipe? That was his, yes?
Yes, I do.
And
I take out the pipe and I put it for her.
That can be used as a focus. That will help.
So DM, Kanane has a focus of something that belonged to this person. Do I get advantage on making a reading? I think so.
Yes,
I think
you
that's
do.
what we house ruled, right?
Yep.
All right. So, past, present, future. All right. Past is an 18. Wait,
Yep.
what did we added pluses to that? Was it my
Arcana.
Arcana.
Arcana? Let me double check what that is. plus 3. So 18, 19, 20. So that's a 21 on past.
Okay.
$19 on present. $9 on future.
All right. So you draw your first card, and you catch a glimpse of the past. And with such a high roll, you get insights into Talison's father. You get feelings of warmth and affection. You feel the strength of the familial bond. You feel a sense of duty and purpose. You get the impression that Talison's father was very much a family man and someone who took his responsibilities very seriously. You also get a sense, well, you get a pervading sense of tragedy throughout the entire past reading. A sense of wistfulness, of melancholy. You draw the present card, and you draw a card that signifies an ending, and you don't feel the connection. You kind of know what to expect as you reach for the future card, and your hand pauses on the deck. Normally, whenever you draw a card, you can feel a connection with the cards. You don't always know what they're going to show, but you can tell when it's going to show you something. But when you put your hand on the deck, it feels cold. You don't need to draw the third card.
Yeah, that
I
was fairly certain. I just wanted to be sure.
No, you have every right to be sure. You can have comfort.
And I will
actually
pull her in and give her
a bigger hug after that.
Yep, she'll embrace him back, and rub his back.
And he'll let go after a few seconds
and
just
smile and soldier on.
Remember, if you need to talk, I will listen.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know.
Good.
And she will start packing up her cards and shuffling them away into her box.
Alrighty. Despite this sobering news, Taliesin, it does bring a certain sense of closure to you, knowing. There's a kind of catharsis in that. You know your sisters, your brother and your sister are okay. You know your parents did the work they had set out to do. And the fact that the three of you are still here today means that their sacrifice wasn't in vain. So even with this melancholy kind of hanging over you, there is a sense of found family around you, as in light of such fairly dark recent events, there's a determined effort among your companions to try and keep high spirits. And Taliesin, you know what it's like to struggle with your own I don't want to say depression, but to struggle with the reality of things and put on a happy face, and you can see some of that in your companions as tonight is kind of a way for everyone to try and bolster one another. And it feels like it feels different. It feels positive. Like this was something that was needed. As you all divvy up yourselves into your resting positions, sleeping areas, and arrange your watches for the night.
Taliesin is on first watch, and his bedroll is with Mirai.
Mirai is grateful for the bedroll and definitely uses it to catch some rest, promising that she'll wake up for second watch. By the time several hours pass and it's time for second watch to wake up, say, since you're kind of the face of the second watch, you wake up to find that within the prisoners, there are 2 fewer than they were when you went to bed. After checking with first watch with Elaine and Taliesin. Taliesin, you were on watch when you heard growling on one side of the band of prisoners, followed by a sudden intense darkness as everyone kind of stirred in discomfort. And as you went to investigate, you found there were 2 Duergar missing. Elaine is standing where the shadows seem to have intensified before diminishing away. And he looks over at you with a serious expression on his face.
Okay.
So Nikados got to them before I could.
As you meet Elaine's gaze, you get that immediate understanding, and Elaine nods.
I
nod. And Yep.
And you and Elaine see the Duergar are unnerved. And say when you wake up and get your report, you can see that the Duergar are keeping closer together, and some actually appear to legitimately be trying to sleep. And it seems that it seems like the message that Valor Company set up for them has been well and truly learned by now, as there are no more attempts for the rest of the night.
Good. Yeah, Say will be pretty quiet during her watch.
As the second watch leads into morning and everyone begins to rise for breakfast, we're going to take a quick break because I'd like to refresh my water bottle.
Okay.
So 5-minute break.
5-minute break.
Pizza break. Sashimi pizza. I've never had a sashimi pizza.
Are you gonna be okay?
Seriously,
for like 2 rounds there, I kept wanting to just have Taliesin jump up, cast, what the hell is this spell further down here?
Maximilian's Earthing Grasp?
No, Guardian of Nature. He was going to turn himself into a slightly taller,
slightly woody wood elf, and make the ground is within 15 feet difficult terrain for Elaine.
He would only have to move.
Alistair needed it.
But Alistair,
he kept watching. Like, no. I think Alistair is squirrely enough that he can just fucking do this. He's gonna stand back and watch.
I was sorely tempted to have Kanane wiggle her nose and bump up either Alistair's score or Elaine's score just to fuck with them.
These are Alistair's tricks. His party stacks the odds in his favor.
Yes, no. What
Yes, no. What even more is if you had not pulled that Emmett shit out of the back of your ass.
That was
That was
fucking
fantastic.
amazing.
That was fantastic.
If you had not done that,
If you had not done that, Taliesin was at that moment was going to cast reduce
on Elaine.
on Elaine.
Honestly, I have been waiting for like a critical plot moment during like a boss battle for Alistair to like drop while he's doing this, so that Emmett is him. I think it works better here though.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
That
Alistair
first
goes
round.
slack.
That first round when he got pinned down by that rock, I was like, Say is not going to let that stand because that's not even a fight. No
That
one
was
is getting any
hilarious.
frustrations out with that.
It takes a DC 25 athletics check to move that rock 10 feet.
Yeah, Say was like, oh man. She was like, I want to wait. I want to wait and see if Alistair wiggles out of it, because I have a feeling he
MacGyver.
will.
Welcome, MacGyver.
That's what we were doing the whole entire fight. We were just waiting for Alistair to just do the squirrely thing.
I'm so glad I got to flex that.
I'm just
I like
saying.
that it boiled down to a contest where they were both leaning on what they knew best, and when they did try to do something athletic, they both pretty much failed at it.
Yeah. Like, Say the Mareki is like, yeah, you guys should fight about it. That'll
You're
make
doing it wrong.
Then they're like throwing spells. She's like, this is not what I intended. But okay, I guess you do you.
I mean, shoot, Alistair could use all the mean spells and actually use his sword to attack, but that's just hurtful.
This was much better. This was much more in line with who they are as people.
Hell, yeah.
Anyway, I'm back. Are we waiting on anyone in particular?
Just you, Pimp.
I was gonna go up and refresh my drink, but I'll just have to pee more, so I'll just wait.
It's too late now.
Drink less, pee less.
Yeah, get dehydrated, nerds.
Get on my level, nerds. Dehydration is in.
All the TikTok kids are doing it.
All right. Then we return in the morning. Uneventful night past the turning of the watch. Uneventful morning as you all wake up, gather your things, and get ready for the next stage of march into the refuge.
Woo. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. Alright, and you all set off further into the mountains. It's about late morning as you are well and truly into the higher passes now, when Telemon, who has been striding near the front of the party this time, pauses as the column kind of moves up past him, and he turns to regard those of you in Valor Company, looking at you gravely. There are riders in the pass ahead. They look similar to the ones that swarmed my castle when it crashed.
Are they blue?
Yeah, are they blue?
Some do indeed appear blue. There are some that appear red or purple as well. It's hard to tell at this distance.
Might be
Sound like
ours.
the Wind Ridders to me.
Yeah. I sent word ahead to get reinforcements because we have a lot of prisoners and not a lot of guards.
A wise decision. Those creatures, I know they are. I was under the impression that they served ruin. I've never seen their like on Mobius before.
Some said they were pressed into service and have abandoned ruin to our side.
I see. That is curious. But he takes you at your word. Soon enough, you do start to see outriders start to make their way down through some of the rocky hills in this area, and you do see a patrol of windrunners. In their lead, riding on one of the creatures you know are wargs, is the younger orc that you saw always at Drogon, the chieftain's right hand. This orc is... Oh, okay. I had that note somewhere else. One second. He has red and purple mottled skin, and you recall his name as Ashad.
Bondsman. Ashad.
Correct, the bondsman, you recall.
I took notes.
He raises his hand in greeting as he approaches, and you can see riding on one of the wargs behind a orc rider is another familiar face, as you see a female drow leaning over and peering at the giant towering over your group. As Ashad leads his companions forward with Vera riding on the back of one of the wargs.
Jaeger waves to Vera.
Vera gives you a wave back. As your two groups pull up, Ashad guides his hunched warg over to you and looks over your party. I see you've taken the Duergar prisoner.
I think we're down at 15 now, but yes.
And the mines you set out to disrupt, you accomplished your mission as well.
Oh, yes, we destroyed everyone there who didn't surrender and collapsed them completely. Rescued all the prisoners as well.
That's impressive. You see him, he looks up at Telamon warily. And this one is a friend.
Yes, this is Telamon. Telamon is a friend of ours who we helped in the camp, and then turned around and helped us right back.
He is very large.
Really? I hadn't noticed. Oh, I
Oh.
guess you are pretty tall.
Telamon just looks down at those of you in front of him with a solemn expression on his face. Ashad kind of like does a upper body bow, his eyes never leaving Telamon as he nods.
Telamon, this is Ashad. He is, I think, second in command for the Windrunner tribe.
I am bondsman to Drogon, chief of the Windrunners. It is a honor to meet you, Telamon. Telamon inclines his head. I hear your people are more honorable than the others I've met thus far. I hope you understand if I reserve my judgment. And that actually makes Ashad kind of sit up a little straighter, and he nods respectfully. May we all be judged by our deeds. This is acceptable. And he looks back at you, say, and the rest of Valor Company. You are all in good health, then.
Jaeger nods.
Yes.
Nods across the board.
Your raid was a success without any wounds or setbacks. That is pleasing to hear. Please allow us to escort you back to the place of refuge. And he will nod to you and wheel his ward around and start to head back up the hills as Vera sprightly leaps off the back of the ward she was hitching a ride with, wave to the rider, and walk over to all of you and inspects you all with her own eyes, lingering on Elaine for a moment. She raises an eyebrow. Something has changed.
Traveling with us has proven to age Elaine quite dramatically.
Humans just don't suffer it well.
I blinked and he looked like that. It was quite weird.
They are a very taxing bunch. I had to fight for my dinner.
And he lost, so he starved.
Alistair, you raised your hand.
Yeah, I would like to roll insight into what the bondsman and Shad had said. Specifically, it is pleasing to see that you are unharmed.
Okay, go ahead and roll insight.
It's 18 on Val, without picking up the stats. 24.
Okay.
I'm trying to suss out if it is genuine, if it is surprise, or if he is secretly hoping we fucking died. Or option 4, if he was actually worried about us.
Why don't you meet me in the lounge?
Oh, this hasn't happened in a while.
Something NordVPN?
Yeah, NordVPN. Big money.
Has anyone tried HelloFresh lately?
I thought
No, we love them.
No, we love them.
Mostly joking about the more common sponsors.
yeah.
Speaking of, has anyone played Raid Shadow Legends? It has 150 new heroes.
One lunch man?
Oh boy.
It's okay, we entertained ourselves while you guys
One launch, man.
talked to each other.
Oh no. Socialization. Continue. Vera was doing cute things. Carry on.
Vera nods. I can see how your antics would weigh heavily on the old man. Oh, that's a little too close to a dream. I hate switching from Elaine's accent to Vera and Taro's.
Roll with it.
It's fine.
Okay.
We know.
It's okay, you don't have to be perfect. We still love you.
Don't try to be Matt Mercer. You're fine. You're here for the plot.
We're here for our own sake, for fun, for you. Now, just don't think about it.
I appreciate the rousing show of support for my players. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, so
Sorry, I'm channeling Kanane. She's still on that high.
So stop wasting our time by self-flagellating.
Vera smiles as she looks back at you, say, I am glad to see you are okay.
Yes, I only almost died twice.
Only twice.
I'll
I
try
do not
harder
think
next
you are
time.
trying hard enough.
Try harder next time.
And you have a giant with you. That is a surprising development. You are acquiring quite the menagerie.
Telemon is a friend. We helped bust him out, and he helped us with the fight.
To be honest, I am surprised too that we're surprised to face up with someone larger than me. But here we are.
Last giant tried to enslave and or kill us.
And he was much smaller.
And before that, there were the ogres who were giant-like, who also tried to kill and or eat us.
That sounds about right for ogres.
Except the
They're
ogres
very
were
good
trying
at
to
hiding.
hide.
Ogres were trying to hide.
Oh, very good.
Oh,
Yes.
very good. Yes,
Those
twigs were very
convincing.
convincing.
And then he was as ugly as a tree. Well, not that trees are ugly, but like a very ugly tree. I don't mean to offend, I'm sorry.
I am sure the trees are not
Who are you
offended.
offending?
Well, I mean,
Unless the
Talisman's a
trees
conduit of... Talisman's a conduit of the green. I don't know how it works.
Taliesin
Or
is
no-
not the
We
tree,
do know
though.
that
He is an
Taliesin
elf.
is fond of hugging trees. That is true.
Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say it, she did. She did! Anyway, yeah, Telemon's, a big friend. He has a
This could be
castle.
very interesting. Now, I insist you get me off to speed with your recent adventures on the way up back to the refuge.
I would be happy to, and I am going to pass off this belt and this. Who's going to be taking charge of the prisoners? I'll look at the bondsman.
Kanane just points at Jaeger.
Are you, Ashad was kind of leading the group kind of away.
Yeah, I was
Are you
looking
going
at
to flag him
Ashad.
down?
Yeah. Unless yeah, she was gonna flag him down unless someone stops me.
Oh, if the shots got it, the shot can do it. It's all good.
Yeah, just shuffle off the NPCs to the NPCs.
Metagaming pigeon cuckoo. I just want to point out that belt, it offers psychic resistance. After looking at the whips that cause psychic damage to the wielder, it's a good pair. Just putting it out there.
Okay, well, she was gonna give the belt to Jaeger. She said that she was only using it as long as she needed to be able to communicate with prisoners.
Oh shit, the bondsman. Yeah, okay, yeah.
She's giving the bondsman and she's giving the bondsman the Rod of Dominion.
Oh fuck, give him that. No one wants that. That thing is cursed.
Because, because it's cursed and Stay does not want to be in charge of the prisoners anymore.
Take a break.
She's happy to take that weight for Valor Company, but if they've got people who are willing to take charge of that, she's happy to pass it off.
No one flags you down, I don't think.
Say's off the clock. She wants to hang out with her girlfriend.
Okay, so after explaining to Ashad what the rod is and why you'd like to pass it away, he accepts the responsibility. Say, give me an insight check as well.
Sure. Nat 20 for a total of 22.
Oof, okay. Oh god, that's being transmitted.
Yep.
Hi, Toby.
I missed it. Don't take that away from me.
No, bring Toby back. We want to listen to him.
Hey, he's nowhere. He's on my desk in my arm right now.
Make him her.
Do it.
Does
Anyway,
not take much.
so Nat 20.
Nat 20. You can see as Ashad takes the rod and starts directing his companions that there's no resistance to the idea of taking prisoners. You're able to glean from their actions and the brief exchange you have with Ashad that they are accustomed to escorting prisoners, taking prisoners. This is not out of the ordinary for them, and it is a duty that they undertake willingly and without reservation.
And
You're the perfect candidate.
Say is happy to pass that the fuck off.
Warden.
I would also like a perception check from anyone who has been keeping track of the goblins.
Oh, absolutely. Perception?
I'll roll with disadvantage.
Perception.
25.
24.
24.
Jeez.
You said perception?
Yep.
Goblins!
I did disadvantage because Say's been keeping an eye on them, like, out of the corner of her eye, but hasn't been, like...
21 because they're interesting.
Oh god, so
What?
everyone got above 20?
I think so.
They make things go boom.
They make things go boom. Of course people are going to be interested in keeping an eye on them.
Oops, sorry, I had to drag my mouse over to my left hand because the cat is demanding belly rubs. So with all those rolls above 20, you can see that the goblins are nowhere to be found in the sense that they are actively hiding from the sight of the orcs.
In the bushes?
They are like, they are trying to maneuver themselves so they're in the middle of the group of human prisoners who all keep like trying to shift and make way for them, and they just keep shifting to put themselves like closer and amongst them. So it's this constant shifting among the humans that kind of draw your attention as everyone's trying to like, okay, we should give these guys room, and the goblins are like, no, get back into place. We get closer together. You guys are tall. We need the interference. They are very actively trying to keep out of sight.
They're squints in the direction. Alright, so who's going to ask them what all the gods' names they're doing?
I vote the person who has the best rapport with them, and she looks just at Alistair.
Alistair cups his hands. Mike! What are you all doing?
The humans in the group immediately like move away in like 5 different directions, so the goblins try to scramble for cover and find that they are fully exposed.
Assuming that the orcs have kind of like turned their back by him.
Oh yeah, some orcs have looked back, and you hear a murmuring in Orcish, and those of you who see the orcs' expressions can see looks of distaste among their faces. And Frank is looking around and, shit, why'd you have to go and do that? Everything was going according to plan. No one knew we were here. Now they know we're here. Shit.
We're all about to go to the same place. What are you going to do? Stay outside in the rain? They're windrunners. They're cool.
They're orcs. We're
Well,
goblins.
I mean,
we have a very tumultuous relationship.
well, maybe back home in the Shadowfell, but this is Mobius. The land of raw potential.
Yeah, since we've been here, we've been forced into manual labor in a mine not of our own digging, so, land of opportunity, yeah.
Well, did Drogon put you there?
No, but there were orcs there.
Well, it wasn't Drogon.
No, but there were orcs there.
Well, I mean... Kind of glances in the direction of the prisoners about to make an opportunity they can't quite grasp, because it's not there for doing it. He kind of removes his nose and puts his hands in his hips.
Vera is watching in fascination. I cannot decide if they're gnomes or kobolds.
They're some weird type of gnome called goblins? I don't know. Honestly, they're the least of my worries. They were very upfront about their intentions.
What was their
Well,
intentions?
Hide behind us and scatter if trouble comes.
Oh. At least they were upfront about such things.
Exactly.
Better to know in advance than find out in the midst of a battle.
Very much so. They know some weird magic and mechanics? I don't know. Artificery.
I'm gonna approach Frank, kind of hands on my hips, and
Kanani's gonna follow.
he's gonna roll his hand a little bit. All right, so maybe your first impressions weren't that great. I mean, no one gets off to a perfect start, but that was under the management of Ruin herself, Effectable herself. These guys answer to the Refuge. They answer to.
Oh no, you misunderstand. This goes back generations. Like, yeah, we make, they take. That's kind of how our relationship goes.
Oh. Even oh, that's pretty terrible. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of an ordeal. Sorry for calling you out. But hey, they answer to old men Drummond, man, and you guys don't have to build or mine or dig if anything you don't want to build, mine, or dig. I mean,
If any one of them tells you you have to do something that they want you to do that is not for everybody,
Then
tell
we
me.
do it to avoid getting a fist upside the face.
no, you tell
No.
me, because then I will tell them to fuck off.
So you
Oh.
get the fist upside the face. Alright.
They will get a fireball up their ass.
Oh.
we've seen what she can do.
Oh.
It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
Oh, yeah. I get that now. Okay. Alright. Yeah. He
And
gives
if
you
the-
a very unconvincing thumbs up.
I'm
It
gonna
was-
roll to convince him because I have high charisma.
Persuasion check.
Yes. That is a 24.
He seems to believe you, but he's also like giving side eyes to the orcs who have gone back to marching and paying no attention to the goblins.
Look, they don't even care. They're walking away. Look, we want to help you. We want to get your bee queen back. We want to
Technically,
get...
we're all walking in the same direction, so they're not really walking away. They're just getting to where we're going ahead of us.
Now, so you're just being paranoid.
Yeah, it keeps me
subject.
alive.
Fair enough. But yeah, maybe change the subject is better. Frank, I'm gonna place my hand on Frank's shoulder and kind of see if I can get him to keep walking. Why don't you tell us some more about this this queen bee situation? And well, maybe we can negotiate. Just what can be done about this work situation as well.
Oh yeah, Queen Bee. Yeah, she's
And
great.
I'm just keeping him talking about the queen.
And Kanani's gonna help. She's gonna keep helping, like getting them completely distracted and talk about their stuff and their culture and all about this queen bean lady.
Okay, so you start guiding the conversation, and as is kind of the way with goblins, it doesn't take a whole lot to distract them, and they immediately fall into chatting you up about their some details about their civilization. Excuse me. All right, the cat has decided he's had enough.
Goodbye, Toby. I will pet you someday.
Okay. So those of you who are overhearing the conversation as you walk, you quickly learn that the Union of Goblins have a great deal of respect for the Queen. It seems they describe her in terms of genius and beauty and, well, a lot of beauty. they're very infatuated with her. But reading kind of between the lines as they describe her accomplishments, you get the idea that goblin society is largely fractious. You learn that they live in warrens that are all kind of managed by themselves. And it wasn't until the Queen came along when they actually began to unite into a single kind of civilization, for want of a better word. And it was the fact that they had united that drew them drew the eyes of the Shatterkai upon them, and that's how they ended up being roped into joining the Ruinous Alliance. It seems the Queen is definitely interested in advancing goblin relations, advancing goblin society, and she's agreed to work with the Ruinous powers basically to keep her people alive and on the up and up. You also get this sense that goblin lives are surprisingly brutal, that they are smart and industrious, but they are also very low on the totem pole back where they come from. You kind of steer the conversation away from orcs so they don't get into their relationships there, but kind of what you've seen and experienced, they're used to being pushed around and doing what it takes to survive. If anyone has any specific questions or specific bits of information that they would like to find out, the goblins are in a talkative mood right now.
I think Kanani would ask if given a chance at a better life, would their queen bee not follow ruin stuff?
It seems very much like it's a ally with me or your people are dead situation.
Yeah, that's what Kanani wants to get at, because if they're able to be like, sweeten the pot on Mobius, this place is better, you don't want to follow ruin, you don't gotta.
The goblins all universally agree that there's no real love for the ruin or her people. There's no real love for any of the races back home, be they orc, Shatterkai, Duergar. You get the impression that the Queen definitely entered this alliance on behalf of her people, not because she wanted to be part of it, so much as she wanted to keep her people from being trod upon. So the possibility for alliance seems to be present.
Oh, hell yeah.
Something I'd like to know, and I don't think I've made a check about this yet, but Shadowfell, is there any historical or arcane or religious basis of knowledge for that place? Is there an accepted and understood description?
Give me an Arcana check or a religion check.
I'll take Arcana. That's what I'm slightly better at. That's a nat 20 for a total of 30.
Oh, for
Great. 33.
There's like 3 in the pool now, aren't there?
I think so.
Yep, there's 3 in the pool.
Excellent.
I could have rerolled that one. Shit.
All right, Arcana check. Natural 20 on the Shadowfell. All right, from your understanding of reading, the Shadowfell falls under planner studies. And at some point in every academic's life, there's a passing interest in the other planes and how they affect reality. The Shadowfell is largely seen as a plane that is remote from Mobius, that was discovered by the gods during ancient times, and is largely described as a place of despair, a place of endless mists and murky mountains, and it's not a place anyone has ever really been to, because all of the lore states that this is where Hectopole was imprisoned, and no one wants to go to the Shadowfell to risk drawing her ear, if she does indeed exist there. Speaking with the goblins, and from what you've heard from the orcs, you start to pick up on a couple inconsistencies. They don't really describe their world as in the same terms that you've read the Shadowfell described as. Like when you mention mists, and the goblins are kind of confused because no, it's no more misty than anywhere else. You mentioned mountain, yeah, there's mountains. Dark skies, yeah, during the night. You definitely, yeah, there's some inconsistencies here that you can't quite account for. Also worth noticing is that the goblins never refer to their world by any particular name.
Huh. Alistair kind of scratches his head, like, surprised initially that the Shadowfolk could produce cultures like this, and that they'd have any kind of hope at all, considering it's such a morose and shady and gloomy place.
Making that comment prompts them to actually start talking about the beauty of the deep mines and the caverns and jewels and minerals, and you start to recognize that these goblins, for all their gnomish trappings, also seem to have a bit of dwarf in them. And you learn that their warrens do tend to straddle the overworld and underworld in equal measure. But they definitely don't describe their world as gloomy or depressing. As goblin talk continues in the background, say you bring Vera up to speed on all your adventures. Party continues up into the mountains.
So Kanani's just gonna flat out ask, is their home very similar to Mobius?
That makes them kind of rub their chins and discuss amongst themselves, and they come to the conclusion that similar? Yeah, there's woods, there's forests, there's mountains. Their mountains are a little darker. Their skies are a little more overcast. Their forests are a little more intimidating. They bring a lot of attention to a lot of the monsters there. There's a lot of threats out there. You don't want to go too far on the plains because the orcs will get you. You don't want to go too far into the woods because the orcs will get you. You don't want to go too far underground because the Duergar will get you. You don't want to go too close towards civilization because the Shatterkai will get you. But yeah, no, it seems in their eyes it is a very similar place.
Interesting.
Are there any conversations that anyone else is pursuing as you make your approach to the refuge?
All I can think of is maybe give a heads up to everybody that, oh hey, Pharaohvax has been very active and visible, so don't freak out about the dragon.
Oh, there's a dragon! There's a dragon!
Yes, he's roosting on top of the refuge.
As you start to spread this news around the column, Telemon comes to a complete stop and his expression darkens. There is a dragon waiting for us at the end of this march.
Well, we talked to him. and he's very okay.
He's like a big cat.
We helped him. He has respect for us. He gave us shinies.
Callison, what were you gonna say?
I said he's a friend.
I said he's a friend.
Do you by chance know what kind of dragon he is?
What part?
What was that?
Byron.
An iron dragon, that is. The fairest scales are very rare. And they do not often surface. Perhaps he will honor our covenant. I suppose we will see.
Okay.
I pull out from my bag the scale he allowed me to take.
I don't think he's being literal.
No, I'm just
saying I have a scale, and he didn't kill me for taking his scale, and we've all gotten things, so just trying to be comforting.
I think we made a point with him that there is danger happening, and he may just really like his people who bring him goods.
To the dragons, small folk are pests at worst, pets at best.
I think the refuge might fall into the latter, which, I mean, it's not a really big problem. They could use a big protector to take care of them. I think.
Then I'm sure you can appreciate that while they view themselves folk as such, they tend to view giant kind as threats.
Oh. Should we make to neutral ground? Knock at the door and announce your arrival?
Give him a warning that we need a friend.
Yeah.
I think in this instance it would be more appropriate for me to approach him directly. It is too late to turn back. And there is a way to do these things. If this dragon is as considerate as you believe him to be,
I mean, we had a problem and we fixed it, and I think we did a good job. I don't know anything about dragons other than that they are very large.
yes, they are. Well, let us see what this dragon has to say.
I'd like to kind of like jog. Not the Jaeger. I'm gonna jog over to Jaeger and kind of just walk beside him for a little bit. And, once I'm sure we're out of Telemons, oh God, how far from the ears? I'm going to whisper, pipe up quietly to you. Hey, Doctor, you know giant things, yeah?
Yeah, I know if you can.
You know anything about a covenant? Ring the bells.
Does Jaeger know about covenants, DM?
Let's find out. This is going to be a history check because this falls in the category of old lore.
14. Request permission to roll at.
I mean, we got 3 in the pool. What are we gonna do with them? Talk
What
to
are we
a
gonna do with
dragon?
That's what you gotta ask.
Well, let's keep 2
Go
for
for
the
it.
dragon.
Can,
Shit!
can I use Flash of Genius to help jog his memory? just by rattling off things that I might know about history,
Sure.
places and names, and so that'd make a 14.
Well, he did
19?
choose to re-roll that into an 8.
Oh, so that's not advantage?
No. I thought
No,
Flash of
it's-
Insight adds...
Flash of Genius doesn't add advantage; it adds a plus.
No.
But
I thought when rolling from the pool, he got to
To
re-roll and
roll
keep
with
the higher.
advantage, you have to declare that in advance, otherwise you just do a re-roll.
yeah, you have to either say you either take the extra die for advantage before you roll, or
okay.
if you roll and you roll shitty, you take what you re-roll.
Yep.
Okay. I thought it was taking the higher if using it out of the pool, so I will refrain
If
from
he
using
if he initially said, "Hey, can I have advantage on this?" then he would take advantage.
Yeah.
All right.
But what does a Flash of Insight add to the 8?
It just adds 5.
Okay. Well, hey, gets him up to 50.
Yeah.
Alright, so... As mentioned, this is old lore. Jaeger, among your tribe, there are some stories and legends of giant kind, just as that's kind of passed on from generation to generation. So you do understand, especially now that your memory's jogged, you've never had to really think about it before, there is some kind of ancient enmity between the giants and the dragons. It's not that they're constantly at war. They're very much not at war, primarily because such a war would be incredibly devastating. They are both ancient races, and in the legends and stories, the only adversary to a dragon is another dragon or a giant. And the same is said of giants. There are stories of giants and dragons undergoing tense encounters with one another that do not end in bloodshed. There seems to be some elements of ritual in the story, kind of as all fairy tales have that element of ritual, like, you know, the rule of 3 and all this kind of stuff. Like you remember that sense of there's a structure there, but you don't recall exactly what it is.
We will definitely let Alistair know such. I wish I could help you more with this. It's something that I and mine have almost never thought about.
This is something that's completely out of my wheelhouse, so any heading's a good heading at this point. Hopefully we're not inviting destruction to the Refuge. Oh boy. Okay. Let's try to keep both sides happy. Yeah. Okay, good chat. I'm gonna jog away from Jaeger.
So as this discussion is going on, Mirai, who's keeping close to the group as discussion of a dragon of all things has been brought up, seems very, very interested and, again, kind of bemused at yet another strange turn of events. You are all on friendly terms with a dragon. Who are you people?
The Valor Company.
Remarkably, that does not answer my question.
It doesn't answer anybody's question, but it might someday.
It will someday.
A bunch of
because our line.
very confused adventurers.
Mirai kind of nods slowly at the barrage of responses. Vera nearby pipes up. And I, for one, am very interested in seeing where this will go.
Hopefully well.
I never thought that I would be in the presence of a dragon until one literally showed up on the doorstep of the home I've stayed. So this will be a story, if nothing else. Hopefully just a story.
I would prefer that. It's been quite a week.
month, Elaine chimes in.
Hopefully just a story. What do you mean by that?
A story, not a scar.
Story, not a star. Although there are hostiles that contain good stories. But not in this case, yes?
Fair enough.
You continue your march. You stop briefly for lunch at midday, then continue on, making good pace despite the prisoners kind of lagging behind. Well, they try to lag behind, but the Windrunners show that they do not tolerate any kind of shenaniganery, and they are very quick to use their spears to poke and prod and keep people moving. Not violently, they're not stabbing anyone too hard, but they definitely know how to keep a prisoner line moving. And with a various amounts of background elements at your disposal, you're able to make the climb a lot easier than you expected. Partially because you are in territory Felix is intimately familiar with, and he's able to lead you up the passes and through large fields where you can see scattered sheep and goats in the distance. But also because just the nature of some of those among you make it easier to traverse difficult landscapes. I saw you light up real briefly. Say, were you going to add anything?
Yeah, Say was just gonna comment. They're going to eventually miss Nikotos and I.
You hear Elaine kind of chuckle from somewhere behind you. Alistair, were you going to chime in as well?
No. I was saying something and forgot what it was.
Alrighty. Yes, Taliesin.
As we're getting closer to the refuge, I am actually going to sidle up next to Alistair.
Oh, hello there.
Do we happen to have some ground diamond or something that will take its place in the spell?
PM, can you take money out of the insurance just kind of diamond?
To be honest, I tend to be a little more careful with diamonds just because those are valuable spell components, but...
Well, I know that we had just
gotten like specific gems from literally from the dragon that we're going to go see. And I know that we had some things that could pass for spell reagents of certain values. I just didn't remember what the values we had.
You do recall from Fairvax's lair, Elaine chose as his prize a rather sizable diamond.
Oh. Well, I don't have one. I've got a lot of Aetherstone shards and large pieces of Aetherstone. But I do think Elaine collected a rather large diamond for herself.
Oh boy, it's rather large.
It's rather large. It might be worth a lot more than I need.
I could attempt to assess it.
Right hell.
Alright.
So,
give me a sec.
Yeah.
I'll get make sure we're tools to see what that, and I'll see if I can what is that word when you gather the wealth of something?
Appraisal?
Yeah! I would like to make an appraisal check after such a time as possible to do.
Yeah,
if Elaine still has the diamond, I just have to convince him to come over first.
Oh yeah, as soon as you ask about a diamond, he produces it and mentions that he tried to give it to Felix, but Felix had refused it. and that he had a feeling that your party might make better use of it than he would. So Taliesin, he gladly parts with it.
Thank you. So I look over
at
Alistair
and watch as he walks and appraises.
All right. Do you have a jeweler's kit by chance?
I do.
Of course you do.
Of course I do.
So jeweler's kit check with intelligence as your modifier. As you break out one of those little microscope things you put in your eye.
Microscope
so
thing.
It's called a loop.
Thank you.
The loop. It's going to be int-based?
Yep.
Int-based. So double proficiency plus int, so that is going to be plus 13. For a total of 27.
This diamond is worth at least, well, I say at least, but with a 27, you know it's worth in the neighborhood of 500 gold.
Alright, this is worth at least 500 gold. A little bit of polish, a little bit of spit and filigree. I could easily make it with more.
Yeah.
Oh, but this is for magic.
Yeah.
So yeah, very, very raw material. At the very least, worth 500.
Okay.
How quickly could you turn that to dust?
Probably fairly quickly. Let's see here. Yeah. By the time I begin, I could probably get it done by the time that we are at the end of the troop. So if we were to stop here and stop blocking, we'd probably finish up by the time that they begin to pass us.
Okay. Then if we could get that crushed, I'd be able to do a quick spell and see if it'll work. I'm certain it'll be interesting for a Ling as well.
Okay. I'm not sure what we're planning, but hey, I'm here for interesting. It's been a week and maybe some good things will get. I will try to do what I can. Can I enlist the doctor for some muscle and maybe Emmett to use tools of various kinds to break this into dust?
Hager will help, but he will make sure Alistair knows that he is not used to using diamonds in this way. And he will playfully mourn the loss of this precious gem.
This would be the point where I consult the hive mind, because I know diamonds are hard, but they are brittle.
They're brittle.
But they're very hard.
They're hard to scratch. Scratching is very difficult. To break them, all you need is a hammer.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
example, my mom
Okay.
had a black diamond, and she actually chipped it while wearing it.
Yeah, that's why people who have diamond engagement rings aren't supposed to wear their engagement rings all the time.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
why I have a cheap lab-grown emerald.
Now, if you're talking about graphene, that's a whole different story.
All right, so I would say this. You're reasonably sure that toss it in a bag, break out a mallet, plenty of rocks nearby. You could probably smash it up, grind it up to your heart's content.
All right. I think it'd be beneficial for the doctor to use Rude Buster. It is magic and therefore resistant to being damaged, being scuffed, and also it seems fitting.
So you want to use basically a sledgehammer to smash a diamond.
Okay. So maybe the smithing hammer instead. Oh,
You could theoretically chip
hold on.
a piece off. Like, you can use your tools and chip a piece and then use
Yeah.
that to make in the dust. You don't have to smash the whole damn thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it depends on how much they need for the spell.
I don't know if diamond dust is worth different from diamond itself or what. So yeah, I'd like to commence the gentle smashing. Doesn't take much strength, but it takes strength, both of which I do not have.
So
Right.
you do have two options based on
So
because
to,
some good points were brought up.
so to prevent it from shattering and going everywhere, I hope you wrap it in a cloth first.
Okay,
No, definitely.
that makes sense.
You can smash the whole thing and get 500 golds worth of diamond dust. Or if you know about how much you need, you can try chipping off a chunk and basically ending up with a whole diamond of reduced value and diamond dust of reduced value.
How much do metagame and pigeon cuckoo? How much do we need?
100 GP.
100 gold pieces. Okay, so we have a 500 gold piece thing, and yeah, I would like to use I would like to use the jeweler's tools to instead dexterously file off 1/5 of it.
All right, jeweler's tool dex check to file off a chunk that would be worth about 100 gold.
So this is going to be. This was 13, so this would be X plus 3. So plus 12 to do this. That's a nat 20.
Ah, nice.
It keeps happening.
We need them to talk to the dragon.
Okay. So I'm going to say that we said that the diamond was worth in the neighborhood of 500. Based on how you chip it, instead of just like chipping off one piece, you chip off the edges and you start to kind of refine it a little bit. And with a nat 20, I'm going to say that you managed to chip away 100 golds worth of diamond dust without affecting the value of the diamond itself.
Dwarven training at work.
Hell yes.
Hell yes. Alright. I'm gonna praise the diamond again, marvel at the handiwork, and gather the dust for Taliesin. Will I put the remaining piece in the bag of holding? Safekeeping?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
that makes sense.
Seems to me.
All right. Is there anything the party would like to do before you arrive at the refuge?
Yeah,
Yep. As we're getting close to the refuge, now that I have diamond dust, I'm going to quickly move back up beside Mirai. I'm like, I need to do something. It'll take like 3 seconds. I just need you to stop moving for a second.
And what are you planning to do?
The thing I promised
I was going to do.
Lose. Oops. She fell into gaming. No, she didn't.
Nope.
Whoa.
That was weird.
All of us.
It's streaming Divinity mid-game. We're going past 10:30. It's time for my game session.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
So you say that, Taliesin, and she kind of blinks. You mean the thing I asked that we investigate once we reach this refuge of yours? You want to do it now, while we're on the road?
Well,
going to
one way or another,
it's going
to happen, but
things get very
busy and jumbly in there, and if you're already, having a few moments to settle with your thoughts, that might come rushing back to you rather than being in there and having the thoughts come rushing back. If I succeed, I thought that doing it first might be a little bit better.
I would like to proceed with this, but if it is okay with you, I would rather we reach this place and rest before we try. It has been a very long day of climbing. And based on my suspicions, I think if I remember everything at once, it's going to be quite a distraction that I will want to spend some time on.
Okay.
But I will make time for this once we get there, so that it doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
As you wish.
Thank you, Allison. I appreciate your desire to help me.
Welcome. I will bow my head and I will fall back.
She'll grace you with a smile, and at some point during the march, you will eventually find yourself walking beside her again, though no comment is made as to how this arrangement occurred.
I notice it, but I don't call it out. I'm just... Yeah.
Let's the chat.
What chat?
Out of character. Usually.
Oh.
All right, so that evening, you finally make it up the path through the winding hills at the foot of the mountains where the refuge lies nestled in the crook between peaks. As you get closer, you can see up the tiered hillside to the top of the refuge, where you can see kind of half draped atop one of the buildings up there is the large form of Refuge the dragon. As you approach, you see him rise, his wings spread, and start to beat at the air. And then you hear echoes of some cries as he takes off over the city and glides and swoops down. And as you approach the gates, he lands before you.
Greeting. Hail Verovac. Really good to see you here.
As you raise your hand and hail him, Jaeger, you see him land and immediately rear back to his full height. His wings spread, and he stands before you, his eyes locked onto Telemon. And you see him half rise onto his hind legs, and in that moment he looks far bigger than he was in his lair when you all approached him.
Oh, oh, oh!
Be well, Verovac. This is our new ally, Telemon. From the same minds that we gathered all of the Durga that we brought here. Be assured that he means you no harm.
You see him kind of like toss his head a little bit, and he speaks, growling out in Draconic. How many of you speak Draconic?
Not me.
Nope.
Not me.
Not me.
Negative.
None of you speak Draconic.
No, this isn't that kind of game.
This isn't cannons where everyone knows Draconic.
Wow.
I'd hoped that.
I might have that, but no. I don't have comprehend languages as a druid, so I can't.
I mean, I've got 5 languages. One of them
I
starts
have comprehend languages.
It's not Draconic.
Okay. I know Felix speaks Draconic, I think.
I think Say is going to start shuffling anyone who is willing and able to not be standing literally in between the giant and the dragon to a side. Not like dramatically, but she's just like, yeah, we're gonna not be, yeah. not be in the middle, literally in the middle of this.
And Telemon actually does step in the opposite direction of you, kind of picking up on the same thing where he's putting some space between him and your route. Jaeger, you hear him growl and begin to speak, so I'll give you the option if you would like to cast Comprehend Languages.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that.
Alright, so you immediately cast it, so you have some idea of what's being said.
Walker of skies, these lands belong to Faravax the Iron-Scaled, master of mountain depths and soaring peaks. Do you seek conflict by trespassing upon my domain?
And you see Telemon, whose expression is inscrutable, slowly sink down to one knee, lowering himself before Fairvex and responding in Draconic.
Lord Faravax Ironscale, I am Telemon, sailor of skies, a humble refuge and traveler, who knew not to whom these peaks belonged. I beg your indulgence as I come in peace, and will leave in peace, under the auspices of the Master's grace.
And as he finishes, he bows his head. And you see Fairvex is looking down at Telemon, still reared up in his full draconic glory. And you see him slowly lower himself back down onto all fours, his eyes locked on the giant before him as his wings, they fold slightly, so they are not quite as spread out. And Fairvex speaks, and to your surprise, Jaeger, Fairvex speaks in giant.
Your trespass is forgiven, Skywalker. Let it be known that Faravax honors the ancient covenant between earth and sky. I open my home to you and bestow my grace upon you, that you might know peace until you depart.
And after a moment, Telemon responds, also in giant.
I accept your grace, Lord Ironscale, and by our covenant shall bring naught but peace to your realm, and stand beside you against trespassers so long as I stand on your grounds and beneath your skies.
Fairvex snorts and tosses his head and turns away as though everything were suddenly beneath his notice as he beats his wings and starts taking off back to the top of the refuge.
Was that a good thing? Are we okay?
Okay.
Very good. Fairfax has agreed to allow our friend here to stay with no issue.
Oh, good. Wonderful. I am so happy.
Telemon also breathes a audible sigh of relief, which is somewhat startling, hearing it come from a giant of his size.
This one is a young dragon, but he honors the old ways.
Wait, what? Young! He's enormous!
Young by our reckoning, old by yours.
Yeah. Are you sure it wasn't, better to call ahead? He didn't seem really rather upset that they just showed up unannounced.
We did I showed up unannounced. And so
such a thing would normally propose a challenge to one such as he. But by humbling myself before him, I asked for guest rights within his domain. He has obliged.
Well, that grounding was good stuff.
Yes, he will permit me to stay, so long as I cause no trouble for him and rise to him and his land's defense if needed.
Oh. Hopefully that's not a thing we have to worry about. Yeah. I look over the party and kind of nod. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not like this.
Honestly, this is the best scenario I could have hoped for. You were right. He is a dragon of his word. And with that, you are all able to proceed into the refuge. And this is where we're going to end it for the night.
Yeah.
Woo!
We have all...
Daddy issues has ended.
I'm keeping it Road to the Refuge, but I don't know. We all know what the episode's real name is.
For real.
Also known as Daddy issues.
Daddy issues.
Road to the refuge. Parentheses, daddy issues.
No, I know things were kind of like clutched there for a moment. We were kind of clenching our buttholes collectively to thinking that Faravax and Big Daddy Telemon were going to get into fisticuffs. But now that I'm looking at the map, our protector's been here the whole time. Bergamot would not let that.
Yeah, Bergamon's
Bergamot's a chaos demon and would definitely root on the chaos and destruction of all.
No way. No way. Demon, he's a fucking archfey. Calling it now.
If they fought, it would be like watching Alistair and
Elaine
fighting. It'd be only instead Klinkle had prepared grease and cast it on them.
Ah,
Oh, God.
oh my god, if only she had prepared grease, that would have been such a funny fight.
Oh, that would have been even more hilarious.
Next time.
I think we peaked on that fight. I don't think it could have gotten better.
It could have with grease. Fucking Emmett coming in and doing people's elbow.
Out of nowhere! Oh my god! Oh my god!
And the crowd is crazy.
Never in my life have I seen something of this humanity.
Either way, it seems like Faravax enjoyed the fact that he got to puff up like a startled cat, and he wins.
Oh yeah, you just gotta do whatever the opposite of asserting dominance is. Ow, that's the one.
Neither one of them wanted to fight, and they both acted maturely, and now everything is good.
Just a minute,
Games
kiddo.
in the
I'll be
north.
right there.
Hopefully dragons.
Dragons. You have a dragon and a giant on your side.
We have a dragon and a giant! What the fuck?
Let's
Let-
note
I
here
would
the
like to
dragon
just-
Let's
is
note
just-
here, the
temper
dragon is still just...
He's still here and like not menacing.
No, he's menacing.
No,
He's
but
just
like
menacing over there.
yeah, he's just not menacing in the way that everyone's dying.
He's not menacing at you. He's menacing beside you.
He's
Beside
menacing
us.
with us.
He's beside us
Not
menacing.
with you. Beside you.
And he's
Hearing
currently
dragon
still
And he's
doing
currently
everything
still
dragon
protecting the
paw.
place, so...
Oh, no. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Room for forum plays?
Room for forum plays.
Hell yeah.
Yay!
Thank you all for playing. My throat held off, and I was actually looking forward to using whatever the hell is going on to make the most out of that Faravax and Telemon discussion. So
Dude,
I hope
just
that
keep
came through
talking.
clear.
Keep talking, and it will become permanent.
Yeah, that's why Rob has really good low voices now.
It'll become a gear you can shift into. All you have to do is physically damage your throat.
I mean,
You can do it by smoking, or you can just get sick and